It seems like everywhere you turn, there's advice about feeding schedules, sleep routines, tummy time, and everything in between. There's so much information out there about how to take care of your baby. It can feel overwhelming. You may find yourself constantly second-guessing. Am I doing this right? Is my baby eating enough? Should I be breastfeeding on a schedule, or is it okay to feed whenever they're hungry? Feeling this way is more than understandable, especially when it comes to something as crucial as breastfeeding. But with all the conflicting advice, it's easy to get lost and start wondering what the right thing to do really is. Let's clear up some of the confusion about whether to follow a strict feeding schedule or let your baby lead the way. This video will help you unravel the overwhelm and put your mind at ease. We'll go through how following a schedule actually impacts your breastfeeding right away and long-term. I'll walk you through 5 crucial things so you'll understand exactly when to breastfeed your baby and how often. Let's start with one of the most important aspects of breastfeeding on demand, your milk supply. If you've ever worried about whether you're making enough milk for your baby, this section is for you. The way you approach breastfeeding, on demand or on a schedule, has a big impact on how much milk your body produces. Breastfeeding operates on a beautifully simple system: supply and demand. Every time your baby nurses, their suckling sends signals to your brain to make more milk. Think of it like a feedback loop. Your baby asks for milk by latching and nursing, and your body responds by making it. Feeding on demand, where you respond to your baby's cues and nurse whenever they show signs of hunger, maximizes these signals. This constant stimulation not only helps you make more milk, but also keeps your supply in sync with your baby's needs. On the other hand, feeding on a strict schedule can disrupt this natural process. When you breastfeed on a schedule, space feedings too far apart, or limit the time your baby spends at the breast, you're essentially telling your body, "We don't need that much milk." Over time, this reduced stimulation can lead to a drop in milk supply, and that's the last thing any breastfeeding mom wants. This can happen quite gradually, so a drop in milk supply might not even be that noticeable at first. Research has shown that moms who breastfeed on demand often produce significantly more milk, up to a third more, compared to moms who follow scheduled feeding routines. This is especially important in the early weeks when your body is still establishing its milk supply. Frequent nursing during this time helps lay a strong foundation for months to come. Even beyond the early weeks, on-demand feeding is crucial in maintaining a strong milk supply throughout your baby's first year. Feeding on demand helps keep up with your baby's changing needs. Whether they're going through a growth spurt or simply needing extra comfort, each nursing session is a signal to your body to adjust milk production. Why does this happen? Scheduled feeding limits the time your baby spends at the breast, reducing stimulation and lowering milk production. It's all about biology. Your body adjusts its milk supply based on how often and how effectively your baby nurses. Think of it as a constant conversation between you and your baby. Every feed sends a message to your body about how much milk to make. The takeaway here is simple: trust your baby and your body. By breastfeeding on demand, you're giving your body the best chance to keep up with your baby's needs and maintain a strong milk supply. And remember, even those short, comfort nursing sessions send signals to your brain to make more milk. Every latch counts. Now, let's address a common concern. You might be wondering, but what if I don't have enough milk to meet my baby's needs? The truth is, feeding on demand is one of the best ways to ensure you're making enough milk. Even if your baby isn't actively drinking during a nursing session, maybe they're just comfort nursing or cluster feeding, it's still sending that critical signal to your brain: make more milk. Here's an important thing to remember. Even when your breasts feel empty, your baby is still getting milk. At this point, your baby is often getting milk that's higher in fat, providing them with more energy to grow. Nursing during these times is not only satisfying for your baby, but also crucial for sending signals to your body to produce more milk. It's like your baby is placing an order for future feedings, ensuring your supply keeps up with their needs. On the flip side, sticking to a schedule can sometimes create challenges. Your baby might still be hungry after a scheduled feed, or their needs may increase during a growth spurt. Without the flexibility to nurse more often, your milk supply might not keep up with their growing demands. So, when in doubt, trust the process. Responding to your baby's cues and letting them nurse as often as they want is the most natural way to keep your milk supply thriving. One of the greatest benefits of feeding on demand is how it helps you tune into your baby's natural hunger cues. Babies are born with the incredible ability to self-regulate their intake, which means they know when they're hungry and when they've had enough. By responding to their cues, you're not only ensuring they get the nourishment they need, but also building trust and connection between you and your baby. So, what do hunger cues look like? Some of the most common early hunger signs include rooting, where your baby turns their head and opens their mouth as if searching for the breast, sucking on hands or fingers, and lip smacking or making sucking noises. These are just a few of the hunger cues you might notice. For a deeper dive into all the ways babies signal they're hungry, make sure to check out my video on the 8 hunger cues every breastfeeding mom needs to know. It's a great resource to help you recognize even the more subtle signs your baby is ready to nurse. Recognizing and responding to these early signals can make breastfeeding smoother and less stressful for both of you. Crying, on the other hand, is often a late hunger cue, and by the time your baby reaches this stage, they may be harder to settle and latch. When you feed on a schedule, it's easy to overlook these subtle cues. You might find yourself waiting for the clock to tell you when it's time to nurse rather than following your baby's instincts. This can lead to unnecessary stress, as your baby might get fussy or seem unsettled because their hunger isn't being met in the moment. Over time, missing these opportunities to nurse can disrupt their natural ability to self-regulate and cause feeding to feel more challenging than it needs to be. Feeding on demand allows you to trust your baby and yourself. You'll become more attuned to their unique rhythms and needs, building your confidence as a parent while reinforcing your baby's sense of security. Each time you respond promptly to their hunger signals, you're teaching them that they can rely on you, fostering a stronger bond and smoother breastfeeding experience. And remember, every baby is different. Hunger cues might not always look the same, and that's okay. Over time, you'll get to know your baby's patterns, making it easier to respond quickly and confidently. Feeding on demand helps you build a deeper connection with your baby while meeting their nutritional needs. It's not just about milk. It's about trust, communication, and learning to work together as a team. One of the incredible things about breast milk is how it adapts to your baby's needs. Its composition changes not only throughout the day, but also during a single feeding session. This dynamic nature ensures your baby gets the perfect balance of nutrients for their growth and development at any given moment. When you breastfeed on demand, your baby gets access to both the foremilk and the hindmilk. Foremilk is the milk that flows at the beginning of a feed, light and thirst-quenching, perfect for hydration. As your baby continues to nurse, they reach the fattier hindmilk, which is rich in energy and essential for healthy weight gain and brain development. Feeding on demand ensures that your baby has the opportunity to get both, creating a well-rounded and tailored source of nutrition every time they nurse. Scheduled feedings, on the other hand, can interrupt this natural balance. If feedings are spaced too far apart or cut short, your baby might not reach the hindmilk as often, missing out on those energy-dense nutrients. Over time, this can affect their growth and satisfaction after feedings. Breast milk's composition also shifts throughout the day. For example, in the morning, breast milk tends to be lighter and more hydrating. By evening, it often becomes richer, helping to soothe your baby and prepare them for longer stretches of sleep. When you feed on demand, your baby benefits from these natural variations, ensuring they get what they need when they need it. Scheduled feeding disrupts this harmony, making it harder for your baby to access milk that matches their needs. It's not just about nutrition, though. Feeding on demand also supports your milk supply. The more your baby nurses, the more your body adapts to produce the right quantity and quality of milk. This ongoing feedback loop keeps your baby nourished and thriving, while also helping you maintain a healthy milk supply. Breastfeeding on demand isn't just about keeping your baby full. It's about giving them exactly what they need to grow, develop, and thrive. By following your baby's lead, you're ensuring they get the best of what breast milk has to offer, when they need it most. When it comes to ensuring your baby is getting enough milk, weight gain and diaper output are two of the most reliable indicators of their well-being. Feeding on demand plays a vital role in supporting these signs of health, helping parents feel reassured that their baby is thriving. By breastfeeding on demand, you allow your baby to nurse as often as they need, which helps maintain steady weight gain and optimal growth and development. Newborns in particular have small stomachs and digest breast milk fairly quickly, so they require frequent feedings to stay nourished. Each time you respond to their cues and offer the breast, you're helping to support their natural growth and development. Here's what you can expect as signs of healthy breastfeeding. Diaper output. By a week after birth, your baby should have around 6+ wet diapers and 3+ dirty diapers each day. Wet diapers show they're staying hydrated, while dirty diapers reflect proper milk intake. Weight gain. It's normal for newborns to lose a small amount of weight in the first few days after birth. After that, steady weight gain is a sign that breastfeeding is going well. When feedings are scheduled rather than on demand, babies may not get the chance to nurse as often as they need, especially during growth spurts when their milk intake naturally increases. This can lead to slower weight gain and fewer wet and dirty diapers, signaling that they're not getting enough milk. Over time, this can become a source of stress for parents and may require adjustments to meet their baby's needs. Growth spurts are a perfect example of why feeding on demand is so important. During these periods, babies often nurse more frequently to signal your body to increase milk production. By responding to their needs during these times, you're not only ensuring they're getting enough milk now, but also helping to boost your supply for the future. Monitoring these signs regularly, diaper output and weight gain, can give you peace of mind that your baby is healthy and well-fed. If you ever notice fewer wet or dirty diapers, or if your baby's weight gain seems to slow down significantly, it's important to reach out to an international board-certified lactation consultant or pediatrician for support right away. By letting your baby lead, you're setting them up for healthy development and giving yourself the reassurance that breastfeeding is going well. Breastfeeding on demand is about so much more than just nourishment. Each time you nurse your baby, you're providing comfort, security, and a unique bonding experience that goes far beyond the milk itself. This connection is one of the most beautiful and important aspects of breastfeeding. When you feed on demand, the close physical contact between you and your baby stimulates the release of oxytocin, often called the love hormone. This hormone plays a key role in helping you bond with your baby and feel emotionally connected to them. Oxytocin also helps with milk letdown, making breastfeeding easier and more satisfying for both of you. Feeding on demand means being responsive to your baby's needs, whether they're hungry, seeking comfort, or simply wanting to be close to you. These moments of connection reinforce your baby's sense of safety and security, letting them know they can rely on you to meet their needs. Over time, this builds a foundation of trust and emotional resilience that benefits your baby's development. On the other hand, sticking to a strict feeding schedule can limit these bonding opportunities. Scheduled feeding often stems from a desire for control or practices rooted in formula feeding, but it does not effectively meet a baby's nutritional needs. It also misses out on the emotional and physiological benefits that come from nursing in response to your baby's cues. Over time, it can leave you feeling less in tune with your baby, making the breastfeeding experience feel more mechanical than nurturing. Feeding on demand also gives you the chance to slow down and enjoy those quiet, intimate moments with your baby. Whether it's a peaceful midnight feeding as you snuggle close in the quiet of the night or a cozy session during the day, these moments are opportunities to connect and strengthen the unique bond you share. Every time you respond to their needs, you're building a stronger connection, fostering trust and creating memories that will last a lifetime. Feeding on demand offers so many benefits, both for you and your baby. It's not just about meeting your baby's hunger needs. It's about nurturing a strong milk supply, recognizing and responding to hunger cues, providing optimal nutrition through the dynamic composition of breast milk, supporting healthy weight gain and hydration, and fostering a deep emotional connection. We've covered 5 critical things every breastfeeding mom needs to know about feeding on demand versus following a schedule. From boosting your milk supply to building a stronger bond with your baby, feeding on demand aligns with your baby's natural instincts and gives them the best start possible. Transitioning to on-demand feeding might feel like a big shift, but every step you take brings you closer to a more natural and responsive breastfeeding experience. Trust your baby, trust your body, and remember, each feed helps you strengthen your milk supply and deepen your bond with your little one. If you're wondering how to make sure your baby is truly getting enough milk, you won't want to miss my next video. I'll share 5 unexpected things that can affect your milk supply and how to avoid them, so you can feel confident about your breastfeeding journey. Click the link to watch it now and take the next step toward making breastfeeding easier and more rewarding for both you and your baby.